In this video, I would like to show you the process or workflow I would have to follow to create a parametric model of this design inside Fusion. In Alias, because it's a surface modeler, we have a certain freedom in placing 3D curves, or curves in general in space, create surfaces, let them interact with each other, trim, project, etc., and then create a surface representation of our design idea. But an engineer who, for example, uses more a solid parametric modeler like Fusion, and Fusion is equal to, for example, SolidWorks or Inventor, they all follow the same philosophy. They have to utilize a different approach. Essentially, the tools are the same, but to create a truly parametric model, there are certain steps they have to follow. One of the main differences is I don't really have the ability to sketch in 3D as easily. So let me best show you the steps I have to take. So here I have half of my model, as you can see. And I can use this one kind of like as a 3D blueprint. So I'm creating myself a new sketch. I click to the side because in Alias my model was built along one of the world axes, so I don't have to line this one up, and this is perfectly parallel. So I would like this geometry to be a little bit snappable too. So I'm going to include some of those lines. So this include 3D geometry actually makes those edges visible inside my sketch. It redraws them interactively. I can't really edit those lines because they're interactively generated by that surface. If I would move the surface, those lines would move. The main reason why I did this is simply now I have something I could snap to, as you can see. So for example, here I'm creating myself a top line and close it. This should be 180. Here. Okay. I had lost that snap thing. Okay. And I simply click OK. Now there is interestingly another line that when I remove. And this line I'm going to make sure it is always horizontal. Okay. And move this one back a little bit. Okay. Interestingly, some of these curves changed. So I'm going to undo this one for a second. Let's zoom in. And what I'm going to do now, let's go back to Alias. So here, for example, I have a length of 6 millimeters. So I can, for example, here create myself a line straight up 6 millimeters. And there it is. This arc, for example, I can remove. Also here, interestingly, I got another construction line. Okay, let's go to there. So there, for example, we have 6. Also this one, I can make sure this one should be vertical only. So this, for example, ensures that these lines are always perfectly vertical. I can't change it. I can change, for example, the length, but I can't rotate it. So you see now I start slowly to kind of like rebuild the proportions. And maybe now at this point from here, let's draw a line straight up. Let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe I go till there. Okay. This one should be parallel to, see, this line. I can use that constraint. So because this one is vertical, this one is parallel to here, this line is also logically vertical. Okay. could, for example, measure some distances from there till there. Those actually should intersect. There, so they're actually, they were coincidental there. Okay, good. And I don't know why this one sketch always decides to get a little bit cranky, so I'm removing that for a moment. So here you see I have an arc, and I have, let's go to the side view. Kind of like those arcs here as well. So I can create either myself like a big arc or a small part. And this one has a diameter of 34. So I could actually draw a line of 617. So for example, from here, click this direction, 17, enter, okay. So 17, and I do the same one more time from here to there, 17. Oops, I didn't click the line. 17, enter, click. Okay. Now this original arc I can remove. You also notice actually it was slightly off, so that inaccuracy I simply removed. And those lines, for example, for me, they are for pure construction. So I select these two lines, right mouse button, and say construction. So now you see they're dashed. That means they only help me for example, understanding a dimension. And now I can go ahead and go to the arc, 3-point arc, and say, then I click it, click there, from there to there. Oops, sorry. It goes from first point to the other point, and then you pull the arc out till there. Okay. So now I have to try to see how, for example, I could rebuild this surface. So for the moment, maybe I make this one visible again, but I'm not going to sketch on it, because now I could go to the spline tool and, for example, try to see how, for example, can I place spline points to somewhat recreate kind of like that surface. And here maybe push this one out a little bit. Make this one maybe horizontal. Sorry, I meant vertical. Same here, vertical. And you see I'm actually getting pretty close. Now you see the spline tool works somewhat similar the way how maybe the Illustrator path tool works, if you think about it this way. It's also something small like the EP curve. So I don't really work with CVs. I simply place those spline points, and then I have those handles I can push and pull to adjust, for example, this curvature. Okay. Now I could have, for example, you see where all those rings are, and then if I, for example, click on my curve, you can see where those added points are. So I could have drawn out all these lines, but the EP curve works a little bit different than the spline tool, so that process wouldn't have worked to create all those distances and then actually use that to draw my spline points through. Anyway, we basically have this one done right now. And for example, now we could go ahead and create our first solid. So you see, what's really important here is that this area is filled. So that's a closed shape. The solid tools need closed shapes. So we can go now to revolve, click on this profile, axis, click on this one. And then, for example, we can define how many degrees we want, what direction, and of course I want 360 as solid one. And let's take a look what we have. You see, it is actually the complete handle with the dome cap, and it is also solid, it's filled. So that, for example, we maybe can call for the moment handle, and here the sketch I call maybe handle as well. Let's see if there's something else we can do in terms of maybe driving some distances. Maybe let's see, sketch constraint. Let's pull here this one out. What happens if we change this one to 32? See, by changing this line, this point pushes out a little bit. So let's go back to here, and I would like to show you something. And this is actually maybe a good example to demonstrate what this feature-driven or parametric-driven design means. So when I go to the sketch here, right mouse button, where does it show me? Oh, maybe I have to do it here. No, hold on 1 second. Let's hide this one. I would like to kind of like show me the, oh here, show dimension. That's what I was looking for. So click on the browser, right mouse button, show dimension. And you see there is now the value. But I'm actually not inside the sketch engine. So I can, for example, here now go ahead and say 27. And you see that adjusts it. I could even here still change the curves. So I don't have to go into that sketch mode and do it. And when I change the sketch, it adjusts then also, obviously, because this is all parametric, and adjusts the revolve object. Okay, good. Let's keep it that for the moment. Let's save. Now at this point, it's pretty much time to see how maybe we can actually go ahead and start cutting out or cutting away the different details we have here. Now this is a solid object, so which I can split, or I can define areas. For example, then to subtract, I'm going actually with the split body approach first. This one's a little bit easier to start with. So I'm going to maybe show this one, and I'm going to create myself a new sketch. And then, for example, I go to here, draw a line. Maybe adjust this one a little bit. Okay. Then make another sketch. Also on the same side plane, maybe till there. Adjust this point. Okay. And for example, this sketch I call maybe tip cut front. Okay. And then this one, maybe we call tip cut top. So basically describing what each one is doing. And let's show my complete handle. All these lines go through it. Okay. So what I can do now is actually I could go to actually curious boundary fill, selected tools. Yeah, I don't really have surfaces there right now. So I'm going to the split body and say you split by maybe this line. See now, that's what we have left. And then I repeat, you split along this line. And then actually I can select those two objects. And for example, delete them. And take a look what we have. Okay. Maybe at this point I'm going to work then also on maybe this one. Now that one is going to be a little bit tricky. So I have to see how I can do this, because you see it is actually at an angle. So what would be the easiest approach to cut the side? Let me see. Yeah, that's a step I'm going to do. So I'm going to create myself a plane. You see this line? I'm going to use to run a construction plane through it. There. Now, this construction plane allows me to place a sketch on it. And now when I start sketching, the sketch basically really is at an angle placed on that plane. Sorry. There. Okay. And now I have to see if maybe I could use this one to split my body. So let's go to split body, EU, splitting tool, this one. And let's see what direction. Yeah, awesome. So you see, it does it. Okay. But unfortunately, the way how I place the angle, it completely cuts through it. So to maintain this method, I have to see maybe if we can tweak this a little bit. So let's see. Let's go to maybe this sketch here. Let me move this a little bit and see if at one point it stops intersecting, and there it basically did. This line doesn't really matter where it is, it just has to really go and penetrate this whole object, because it's going to create a complete plane there. Okay, now my only complaint is actually this line, I think, goes this way. Maybe I would like it at an angle. So this idea did not yet really work. So I'm going to delete this one, because I'm going to create another plane. No, through this line. Because this plane I can actually rotate. There. And I didn't try that before, so let me see if I can split a body with just a plane. Yeah, it works. Perfect. Now I have to do the same trick here. This one I have to adjust a little bit. And you see actually that by changing this line, it changes that plane. So the plane is this line is driving the plane. And then the plane I can rotate. Let's say there. So to make this one logical, let's name everything here correctly. So this is actually our tip cut side axis. This is actually our side, or no, this is actually the tip top. Tip top. The coincidence. And here, this is actually side cut. Okay. Perfect. And also here, then this part I can delete. There it is. So the whole part also currently is not mirrored over. I could either mirror the parts over or, for example, split my body and only work on one side. So let's do that actually. I'm going to create a new sketch. No, I don't even need that. Sorry, never mind. Stop sketching. Here, this one we don't need. I'm simply including another split body and say this body along what plane. And for the plane, I can actually use here my world there. And then this part, no. This part I delete. Wait, of course this one. So now my plane, my timeline got kind of messed up. So let's try to see if we can clean this one up a little bit. All those delete commands I push to here. And then maybe let's group those. Wait, one more time. Expand. No, wait, I want to delete the group, and expand its content, because here, what's that one actually? Oh, that's from an old design, so never mind. So this stuff, for example, can I group this? No, I cannot. So at one point I'm going to delete this anyway. So for the moment I leave it, create group. Can, for example, rename this group, delete, there. And most of the stuff here is pretty logical. So for example, all this stuff we could maybe select and then, for example, I don't know, can we push those over to here? Yeah, it worked. So everything what we did here was create planes and then we split. So I could group this one as well. Or if I delete this one, show the content, I can also, for example, group this whole section because logically it describes creating the planes, splitting, and then deleting. So you see this now makes much more logical sense, or at least when you come back later and you have to understand what the heck you did, it's easier to reverse understand. I don't really like this part yet. It's not angled enough. So let's go to this plane here and there, and then I go to, can I not edit it? Let's see, didn't we create this plane at an angle? Yeah, I think we did. there, edit. For whatever reason, the edit didn't show up. So this plane I would like to rotate a little bit more. Let's make this for the moment a little bit more drastic so we can see what's happening. Compare. Yeah, so the tip here get a triangular shape, which is a little bit nicer. But now this part is not what I want. So I have to actually change this a little bit. So let's show me this axis here. Here I move this point now a little bit till I get something that's good. So now I run into the problem. I have to make this part pretty wide till it doesn't cut there. So this approach, I thought that could work. Seems not to really do it. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's maybe a different way how to project a line through this part. Because essentially from up there, the way I'm looking, if I have a line and shoot it through, it should work. So, I'm gonna have to see that for a moment. I don't know. So maybe I keep this one just for a second. No, go away. There. Okay. Actually, let's compare this one with my original part. Let's do a section view so maybe you can see the different looks there. Yeah, I can see there's my original, there's a new one. So my new one is a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, let me pause for a second because right now I would have to see how I could actually change the steps so I have a little bit more control in how to cut the side at an angle. And of course, the moment I hit pause, I figured out how to do it. I'm using this plane. This plane already has the correct angle from here and also rotation, but I'm using the complete plane and I want to restrict the cutting not to be the complete plane, so an infinite space, but just an area. So what do I have to do? Well, just create a sketch on that plane to include the area I only want, for example, to be utilized. So like this. There. And let's go to a left view. Okay, maybe move this one up a little bit. Good. You see now this shape basically is at an angle. Okay. And I'm going to scale this up a little bit. Everybody who knows SketchUp starts to feel familiar a little bit. Okay, so now this one I will call tip cut site. Tip cut site. And then where do we have the correct split going on? Suppress this one for the moment. Here, this one actually I move back to there. Okay. So you cut the top. I don't know what you do. This does the side. Yeah, so for example, here this really helps. to name those splits at one point, so you know what it is. So this is, for example, side, and hold on, let's change this one first. This, for example, is, oops, top, and this one is side. No, how do we front, top? No, actually, how did I call those? This is the front, top. Okay. Okay, so this one is actually, this should be top. It is. This actually should be front. And this one is side. Okay. So, and then for this split, I'm going to edit and simply delete the splitting tool. And for that one, I select now the sketch, extend splitting. Oh, that is not good. Okay, see, this doesn't work. So what do we do in this case? Okay, so this split actually might not work the way I want, so I delete it, but not a big deal. Let's go back to here. Nope, to there. And what I'm going to do now, in this case, this might be easier. I simply use extrude and say this one, extrude it out. And while you extrude, simply cut that stuff away. And there we are. Now I'm curious why actually delete. Where's my split center? Oh, I must have deleted that actually by accident. Okay, so now let's go back. Before I do the extrude, however, oh, I could actually at the end simply do it. So here, no, there do my next split body, this body split along this line. Okay. And those I move to the end because in this case now this other side, this one I'm deleting. And what's this one? And what's that one actually? Okay, can I delete it? Yeah, I can. Good. Let's hide all this. Okay, so you see, similar situation. Instead of just splitting, I simply used the solid extrude command, and then for the extrude I used the subtract to remove it. Now, one thing maybe I would like to change is actually this is being cut pretty straight. That doesn't look really good. So I would like to see maybe how I could adjust that actually. So I only have kind of like a nice arc. So in this case, I'm going to suppress this for the moment. And no, scratch that. I need this one. So this is for the site. This is there. Okay, so along this line, for example, now I have to create, I have to create two arcs that can help to shave something down. And then I would like to have a transition between those. So what I'm going to do is, I would like to see all those sketches again. Oh, sketches are invisible. So handle, which one is that one? That is here. That one. Okay. Along this line, I'm going to create two more planes. So create a construction plane along this path here. Say maybe try to get close to that tip. So there. Okay. And let's do this again and just ignore the error message, because it simply means that those construction planes are invisible. And let's say this is tip top arc linear, and maybe I call this one tip top arc round. Okay, so what did that mean? The nice thing actually, because I have half a model now, I don't really have to work with complete sides. So let's create a sketch here. And on this sketch, I'm going to create myself somewhere here just a line, because this line is going to be useful as a helper. Okay. And then I'm going to do it this way. So arc tool 3-point. So somewhere here, I'll go a little bit lower, go to there, and then maybe, oh, no, this is going to be bad. So I'm going to do it this way with a spline U. And let's see how many points do we go out. Let's select this one. Click, OK. And then here, those handles I make horizontal. And there you can see that I have a nice even arc, and it's actually tangent to the mirror plane. Probably sounds familiar to Alias. Okay, good. Nope, no friend request. Then let's go to here, another spline on this plane. So hold on, this is a little bit confusing right now. Let's just create a line first. Okay. Escape. And this line, I'm making a construction line there. Okay, so I see where these two lines meet. That's, for example, maybe where a little bit below I should start my piece there. And then let's go to, no, shoot, the snapping was terrible. Okay, one more time, someone there. And then here we set something like this. And so here, for example, I push this down a little bit more. Okay, and then here, see, I can arc this a little bit more. And by having this point further down compared to here, you see I'm bending the surface slightly more. Okay, perfect, good. Now I can go actually in this case to patch, go to loft and say, please loft me those two lines together. 1 and 2. And there's my loft surface. Now to adjust, for example, this loft surface, I can go back to those sketches. So for example, here I call this one tip loft linear. I'm just simply maintaining whatever I started there. Tip loft round. I could also say start and end. Okay, so for the sketch, for example, here, this point, maybe this arc's a little bit too much down, so I'm trying to push this one up a little bit more. Let's not change the curvature too much. Okay, so and you see also this surface is bigger than the whole part. It penetrates it completely. So what I can do now is I go back to model, split, say this one with this surface there. This one we delete. Let's turn all this invisible. And let's take a look. And there we have an arc. So I hope that this process actually demonstrated to you kind of like the steps you have to take. You see it takes definitely more time than, for example, doing this quickly in Alias. But at the same time, later when you have to be fully in control of everything, this is actually not bad either. As there then, for example, its advantage. And of course, the more you do something, simply the quicker you get it at it. So now let's organize this a little bit more. Move those over. So for example, now here, all this I call create a group. And for example, this group I rename and say split body. So I understand all the stuff I'm doing there. Because then now in the next step, I can go ahead and have some fun rounding stuff too. Maybe let's take a look. Maybe G2. Okay. Let's take a look at what happens if we just round this one with a 2mm. Then we have this corner. Maybe make this one bigger so it's nicer on my finger. There. And then maybe this one too. Yeah. You see, by having this edge rounded first, I get kind of like this type of a rounding. I don't really get any sharp there. So if I change the corner option, it doesn't really do anything. But maybe there that radius is too big. So cancel, go back to here, add it, and maybe say, well, 1mm, and apple click, add those parts. Well, you know, maybe I would like those edges to be included. Let's see, corner option there. Let's make this one a better transition for the highlights. Okay. This looks good. Now we would like to shell it, and I don't want to shell this and then actually have those edge roundings being offset as well. So I go back to this sharp one, and then actually here maybe I could go to shell and say shell me out this part. And no, hold on, shell this one. Oh, annoying. That's not really good. That's pretty silly. Oh, much better idea. I go to here, there. This one I shell out here, in this step. 2 millimeters, please. Perfect. And let's see if we go back to here, if it all works, or does to a certain degree. Of course, yeah, I shelled the part and I cut this one out, so nice try, but the modeling logic I created beat me here. So, let's see. See, when I click on this one, it opens that part, and I don't really understand why when, for example, yeah, of course, silly me. So if I click on this face, it cores out this volume. So what I have to do here first, where's my last split actually? Where's my split body? There. So maybe this split body, suppress this for a moment. What do I have? I have done this. And when I go to here, what do I have? I have this part that cut out, and then here we have this. Oh, those are all the missing parts. So I tried to see if I can find somewhere something. What's this one? That's a split. Okay, so actually right before split, you see this is still solid. There, I'm going ahead and shell out this face. 2 millimeters. Ooh, this could get tight. And remove this one. There. Okay. Yeah, that worked. See, I need to figure out where was the best moment to put this one in. And because I'm cutting those sides, I needed to basically insert this shelling feature at a point where maybe I have something like this one side, and then I shell it, then I split it, and then I dump the other side. So now I have nearly shot myself again because I'm cutting this part down, and then here I cut through my object. So actually this first step where I cut the top part in a linear way, this one, yeah, okay. Hold on 1 second. How do we do this now? So let's go back to here for a moment. Let's suppress this feature. Let's take a look. Suppress. Unsuppress. Okay, that was for this part. The split body. Can I put the split body maybe afterwards? See, now that's now the problem with with this type of working. If you maybe built in a logical flaw, then you can run into kind of like some hiccups later. My problem is now I only built this arc, for example, to the one side, not both sides. So I'm going to suppress this feature, and what I'm going to do now is simply do the following. So I guess I don't really have any other chance. I just have to update my design a little bit, but that's not a big deal. That's then again also the blessing of this system, because you can interactively update everything. So those surfaces or those arcs I created here, the stuff I have to extend and also actually mirror to the other side. Can we extend the surface? Okay, and extend maybe a lot. Okay. So it's just only a test to see if that works. And where is my let's rename this one. So this is split top arced. And I think this one was the split center. Oh, keep this one unsuppressed. So, okay, now I have to go back to maybe this one. Let's go to edit. Let's show me the sketch. And I would like this sketch maybe to mirror over. I could do it properly this way. Mirror this object, the mirror line. There. Okay. Stop sketch. Let's go to here. Edit sketch. Do the same. And this is the axis there. Okay. Now let's click on edit and say delete. Chain select. Now, how does this one work? Hide all my objects, so I just only want to see the surface. Oh yeah, perfect. See, I selected all those parts, and then it created the loft surface for me. Perfect. Submit cannot be found. Yeah, that's fine, because we changed that input geometry. Did I by accident delete it? There. I wanted to edit it. Okay, it doesn't want to. And let's delete it for the moment. Fine, not a big deal. Okay, let's go to, let's show me my complete body. And the shelling for the moment I just delete. Let's hide all those sketches. Where's my center split? Delete this one for the moment. Okay, so we see we have a lot of stuff here. And what I'm curious now is actually if I split this body with this one, will it extend this edge to it? Probably it will. So I will go to here, go to model, split body, this part there. See, flip, goes through it, perfect. So I don't even have to extend the surface completely. Now I can select this part and delete it. This one I don't need anymore. And there, maybe now I could go actually to say another split. No, I select this one, and this case now my axes there. Perfect. Let's go to here. See what we have. This part delete as well. So see, all that worked. So that's terrific, which means now in this case I have a flat face here. There now I can insert my shell command. 2 millimeters. Okay. Cross fingers. Let's go back. Okay, some fillets are flipping out. And that's fine because I changed all the geometry. So the edges they were associated to were removed. So all I need to do is simply apple click onto those new edges, and that's it. And it's updated. So at this point, I only have 2 tiny problems left. So you see, for example, there, the surface intersects into my blade, same there. The way how I constructed this one, there are 2 quick, easy fixes. So before I do the shelling, this part I hide, I can go to the modify, push and pull, and for example, say here 0.25 millimeters. Okay, let's see. Not enough. Okay, let's do this one more time. 0.5. Still not enough. So you see, actually, this command works somewhat like an extrude, but it really changes the shape. And I would like to do the same also here. So if I, for example, click this face, you see, and move it, I pretty much have the original shape. So think about, like, all the original data is still there, it's just how you manipulate it. That's the difference. And this is not enough. Let's go back. 0.5. And I think this is actually pretty close. Okay, and then for example I can go back to there. And there it is. Oh, one edge got ignored. Edit, Apple key. Okay, done. Okay, that was an easy cleanup. Now, if I want to pass this one to somebody in Fusion, that's fine. I can see all the construction lines, etc. But also maybe for my own sake of sanity, having built construction planes and then having later to adjust the geometry gets me to a result I need, but maybe not through the way I want. Think about it later, months later, you come back and you have to understand all the stuff you did. This is going to be a nightmare. So what I'm basically introducing you to now is the idea that at this point, everything I did was more to figure out what could be a way to build this one and which steps could I utilize. And once you have made that discovery and understanding, you basically scratch it and just rebuild it, but this time more efficiently. Now this sounds kind of amateurish, and as long as, for example, the object is very simple and you know exactly how to build it from the beginning, that's also okay to expect that you can do it. But sometimes if you don't really know a design, it is simply required you make a test model, dry run, and then make the real model. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually I have to see how far I have to go back in my timeline. What do I have? Here's the handle. Let me see all those sketches I have there. Yeah, because for example this sketch I would like to offset, so I have something I could work there. So I'm actually from that point till the end. I delete everything. Okay, good. Let's save. And then let's further clean up everything. So for example, this line here, which I used for the cutting, I can maintain, but I might not necessarily need it later. So let's see what we have. So this is my handle, that sketch I continue using. This one I need, yep. And this one and this one. So this sketch, oh, what happened? Stop sketch. Stop. So this one I'm going to delete. I don't need it anymore. Okay. Did I use... No. Hold on 1 second. What's this one going to be used for? Okay, just to be sure, I remove all those. So it's always, to be honest, it is really easier to just dump what you have and then just try to start from scratch so it's cleaner. So for example, right now, at this point, maybe this is actually a group which I am going to expand. Nope, I might, I'm going to delete this group. Let's go to here. I'm going to I'm not going to shell this one yet. So let's see what I have there. Okay, good. So at this point, for the moment, I'm going to split my body along this line. Okay. And then I have, for example, this design, and actually I notice if I need a certain amount of material there, I want to see how long that distance actually is. So shoot, I wish I could click actually on some points. Select component, body. Unfortunately, I wish there would be an ability to quickly select a certain length, but I think I might have to actually extend this a little bit more. So here, maybe push this one up a little bit more till there. And then maybe this one has to be 38. I'm not sure. Let's show the original body. Yeah, see, it still flows kind of like through the same edge. So we're still good. Okay. I extended this sketch so I have more material later to create my other surface to run through. And that's the reason why I did this one cut here already. Okay. So this one I don't need anymore. And what next cut do we do? Well, maybe we can take a look at this cut along here. How to do this, and let's see. For the moment, I'm going to hide this one and show my previous design so I have a little bit better of a reference. And I could either again do the same thing, draw myself a line and then run something through it, or actually maybe this time I do it a little bit different. I'm going to create myself a sketch, for example, here. Okay, and then this sketch, I'm going to make a line maybe like this there, and this point I move to there, and then just this point I just want to move straight to the right. Sorry, I meant left, kind of like there. Okay. And here, let's do the same, maybe there. So this is actually, let's call this one loft center. Okay. And then I'm going to create an offset plane. I want to see my origin there. And now I have to decide how far out. Let's go maybe to this view. Yeah, 30. Memorize that. Okay. So here's my offset plane. Now I'm creating another sketch onto that plane. And then you will notice or realize why I was snapping to the grid. You see I put these points exactly at the same height. And now I can go ahead and say move to there and here. See that it actually moves in millimeter steps, so here it didn't need to snap, but because of the grid, they all line up perfectly. Okay. So, and I know it might be easier to have the opposite offset face on the other side, so I do another offset there, 30. Okay. Let's go to the left again, sketch onto this plane this time. Sketch. Hold on. Stop. Maybe that was actually the sketch. So let's see. Yep, that was it. Okay. My fault. Click and click. Escape and then let's move those over to there. There. Okay, good. Now let's make a look. You see now I have 3 lines actually. So for example, I could use those lines to simply make a loft. 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, perfect. See, straight line and an arc. Okay, so because later I don't have to do any axis rotations, I actually have maybe this way I have more control over all those three profiles. So instead of drawing an arc, I just decided to go this case, or in this case, this way. Okay. Here's my handle. And there, for example, now see this is actually not wide enough. So what I'm going to do is now offset and say edit and say 40. That worked. Same here, edit and minus 40. Okay, good. Let's take a look if we get a nice shape. So you see the way how those sketches are actually drawn is not really enough. So loft center, which is this one, that is, I don't know, maybe loft left. You know, I'm going to simply call them this way. And it doesn't really matter. Okay, good. Then I can go into edit mode and, for example, go to top cut. Yeah, move this one away. Tip top, this one we delete. That was a silly name anyway. And then let's turn this one off. Maybe, see, I selected this point. Could go to move, and for example, move it in a lot more, 3 steps. And you see, actually, I moved all planes here at once. So loft 3 and 1. But yeah, there. And also here we give it a small arc. Okay, good. Okay, let's try and take a look at our object, how this is looking this time. Not too shabby, but maybe those points down here still really need a lot more push and pull, so I'm going to select those parts and go to move and push this one in further. Unfortunately, no, it moved the complete sketch, which is not really what I wanted. So let's see. Still does that. So 3 and 1. Okay. Maybe let's do it simply this way. Click 1 point, move it over. There, 7 units. Okay. Click this point, right click, move, and move it over 7 units. Okay. And let's have a look. Okay. So for right now, maybe let's leave it at this at first. See, the more I move them in, the stronger I'm going to arc that surface. And let's take a look at actually how we can easily build this other face. So we can extrude this part out. Now, before I'm going to continue, I think this might be a possibility to... No, not yet shell it. We just really cut the side. Okay, so let's go to here. And first, I would like to, okay, this is... I want to make sure which one is which one. Loft 2, which is loft 1. Loft 1 is the one. Okay, so this one we call loft 1, and this is loft 3. So this way I know what is what. Then let's go back to the handle. Let's go to the tip cut front, and there, for example, do we do it along here? Yeah, maybe in this case here we do it that way. So I'm going to create myself a plane along here, and that one I'm going to call front loft 1, and then I'm going to offset this one down till maybe somewhere there. I hope this will be sufficient. Maybe we go to there. And this one we call front loft 2. So why did I create this plane? Very simple. On each one I'm going to create a line, because this way I can twist the line and then affect how this loft is going to work. So I'm going to create myself a sketch. Yeah, I'm just drawing this one straight down for the moment there. And I'm going to draw myself a sketch there as well. Where did that line go to? Okay, so the sketch is useless. Delete. Okay, new sketch, select this plane. Okay, maybe from there to there. Stop, I mean. And then new sketch on this plane. There. But this line actually just move to here. Okay. Now I have to visualize if this actually will be okay. I can maybe make a loft there to there. Okay, I had to select it, so loft to loft there. Okay, so you see the lines aren't really long enough. So you see I'm actually somewhat going to work the same way as an alias, front loft 2. So I'm creating myself helper lines to loft between. But the difference is here I have to use construction planes. So this point, move. I can, for example, shoot down that direction there. Okay. This is actually nice. So let's see. This sits on the plane, which concerns me a little bit. Maybe here I should have rather used an offset, but let's see if this actually can function. And I don't want that to be that way. Do not extend splitting tool. Oh yeah, it still can cut it. So that's pretty awesome. So what's the advantage now of this process? Now these lines are drawn on a construction plane. So if I go into select this point and edit, you see the widget. So this and this one goes along the line. This one I know actually would make it a 3D sketch, which is not what I want. So I could, for example, here say move it this way. No, hold on. Maybe then this way I should rather go into the edit sketch. Oh yeah, it was parallel. That's the reason why it didn't work. Okay, so here you edit, move this way, so I taper it. So the loft surface actually, if I turn it on, you see is slightly twisted. Okay. Now, I was a little bit concerned about this area up there, so I'm not sure if maybe I should leave it. Because I can't really move it up. Then again, it is a 3D sketch. But it seems to work, so maybe in this case I'm good. However, to be really precise, let's remove this, do it the right way. So those are my lofts tip. So create a offset plane, and yeah, okay, so I have to plane at an angle here. Okay. So this one I delete. Yeah, of course, this doesn't work. Here, this doesn't work. So this one I call tip front base. Tip front base. Okay, then I'm going to create myself an offset of this plane slightly up. Just I overbuilt. In general, that's also what you should do in alias anyway, so let's do this here as well. Here, push it down maybe till there. I'm 100% sure I named this one. Okay, and then this is tip offset 1 and tip offset 2. Okay, so now on those sketch planes, I basically start creating those lines again. So create a line on here, go into this view, say maybe from there to there. So here I would like to have maybe a linear part. Okay, I'm going to delete this part, and actually, yeah, because my blade is horizontal, I keep it that way. Good. And then another sketch here, maybe there to there. Okay, let's rotate if I also did everything on the correct planes. Yeah, I did. Okay, so this one is tip loft 1 and tip loft 2. And again, honestly, I'm just naming them right now internally for the way how they make sense to me. Also at companies, they will tell you how you want those to be named and structured. Okay, so this one works. And what do we have here? This cutting part, I moved to the back. There. What's this one actually doing? Suppress. Oh, that just cuts the front part. Okay. To there. Good. Okay, because then after this step, now I can go back, model, split you by do not extend this one. Also the surface, for example, I could call split side. And split front. Okay, so now I actually could do my shelling again if I want to. Maybe let's do that simply so I can check on my blade. Okay, so let's show the blade. And now, for example, with this done, I can start fine-tuning my design. So I have like some major gaps in there. Let's show the original design. Yup. So let's take a look. Maybe let's fix this one first. So where is my tip loft sketch first? There. Now the problem I have, I need to kind of like interpret how I have to move this one to the side. So let's go move and maybe move this one over. Okay. And you see now it got closer. Okay. One more time. Okay, that was a problem. and move you move 0.5. Oh, what did I do? No. Okay. Sometimes it's still easier to simply select the sketch, move 0.5. Okay. Stop. Yeah, we're getting closer. And let's see if we get the same error warning if we now tell it here 0.5. Stop sketching. Yeah, no intersection. But with what? So let's go back to here and see. Oh, see there? It became too short. Well, that's an easy fix. Let's select this part of the sketch. Zip, move it down. Kaboom. And this piece should be silenced. And it is happy again. Oh, wrong part. Let's go back to there. Let's zoom in a little bit. And now we really have like a hair distance between. So this are 2 millimeters. So you can imagine how much that's only is. So this is actually quite okay. Now, the next step is we have to adjust all those sketches for the side. And let's go to the right view. So in my case, maybe I'm going to do this one first here. This point, move, go to there. Okay. And let's see. So you see it intersects slightly. So trying to see if I can click on all these points, not the line, just the points. Let's turn maybe, don't turn snap off, but what I'm doing is I move this one back 0.5 millimeter, maybe, let's see. Yep. Maybe actually less than 0.5 millimeter, maybe a quarter will be okay. So minus 0.25. And let's take a look. And wow, that's, I'm not sure if this is, I think this is pretty tight. Okay, so let's add our split body for this whole part along our global plane here. This one. Okay. And then hide this part. And let's zoom in. Let's go to side view. There it is. And yeah, indeed, actually, I am quite tight there. Okay, well, let's leave it because the blade should maybe move too much. Okay, so now I think we corrected most of our designs. At this point, maybe I could see how does my original design compare. So you see I have some differences. Here, for example, if I click on this one, you see where it's the same, where it's not. So I think now we're ready to do this. I save, and that's the blade. I'm going to do this. Do both. Clean up my scene. I don't need all that stuff anymore, and for whatever reason my It also removed my blade. Don't really understand why that happened. So let's say delete and delete. Maybe I had it selected by accident. There. Maybe here, this one I'm going to delete, and I'm just deleting the group. And what I'm deleting here actually? Let me see. I don't really understand what that was. Copy and paste. Oh, okay, let's keep that one. So all this, I regroup again and rename this one simply. That's my blade. Okay. I have pretty much most of my work done. I can go ahead, redo some of my fillets too. And let's do this again here, there, maybe two. Let's see. Works. Better corner options there. I'm not sure if maybe we can change this one. So let's maybe, nope. Shoot, what did I do? Let's go do this again. There. Constant radius. I want to have variable radius. And there, maybe give me 4. This one, for example, 2. So you see actually similar functionality like the edge tool. Just a little bit more complicated to use. So I guess I have to select all these lines, select the base radius so it's easier. Why can't I do that now? Just hold on one second. There has to be a way to do this as a variable radius. So 2 and 2. No, I guess hold on. Here maybe 5. Oops, wrong one. 2. There, that's the one. 5. And let's add another selection there and there. Those 2 corner style. Oh yeah, that's the way how it works. Okay. But you see, make this one bigger, but still it remains kind of tiny. So it's just a very complicated surface. So I just keep it simply at 2 for most of the parts. Better corner options. I would like to have a G2 one. Actually, let's go to the front. Let's take a look at the tip. This later nearly will look perfectly round. Okay, so let's keep it that way. New export. What is this part then? What do we have in here? Unstitched objects. Oh. Is that the plate? No. Okay. Then delete. And for example, now in this case here, I don't need all this other stuff anymore. I delete all the stuff. You see now my browser is cleaner. There's my part. If I want to, I could add the mirror part. Go to mirror the body, hue along this plane. Okay. That's pretty nice, but actually, you know what? Maybe here, let me show you something else, what I'm going to do. All this I group together, and now I do this, and this I do plainly for the sake of material study. Didn't I draw this line before? Okay, there. Cancel. Okay, what happened? Oh, wah, wah. The lines were hidden. Okay, so you can draw lines, but then they might not show up. And I'm going to do something really quick and dirty now. So I'm going to split this body by this line, and you're going to ask yourself, what the class is he doing? It's very simple. And I go to here. No, wrong one. There. And go to material, appearance. Hold on a second. And this part, maybe now I would like to give a metal. Let's say, what should we use? Chrome black. I don't know. Let's maybe give it a try. And let's go to plastic, opaque. Maybe here make this one red. Okay, let's go back to metal. Where's the steel? There, steel. There was somewhere a brushed one, brushed radial, brushed linear onto the blade. Okay. So you see, actually, we gave this whole kind of like some materials to look at. Well, this one maybe I don't like. So maybe, let's see, steel cast. How does this one look like? Oh yeah, let's do that one. That's good. That looks like a manly toy. Okay, that was of course a joke with the manly toy. Just realized what I just said. Okay, and then now let's go to render. So the render module in Fusion is a pretty simple to use, somewhat effective tool to make some quick presentation models maybe. You see that it offers reflection, it offers some bump mapping. This is a plastic. Currently this is all actually in real time. So this is not really rendering, it's just a graphic cards effect. Those materials are mapped onto the surface. And let's take a look at how we can maybe change some of those things. So appearance obviously is the material stuff. Then we have environment. And in environment, if I'm going to open this one, for example, sharp highlights, rim highlights, cool night, warm light. So you see it actually, how could I say it? Those are environmental images. They're like 360-degree big, so they completely include the scene, and then the material, which is reflective, captures that actually. Snowfield, Plaza, Plaza. This is too much. So maybe, I don't know, rim light. That seemed to actually look nice. Okay. You can, for example, change the exposure, I think. Exposure, I mean. Or you can rotate it. Pretty nice. Background color from environment, or if you want to have something custom. So this way, for example, you could have a reflection on your metal, but when you put this one to Photoshop, everything is invisible. Ground shadow, ground reflection. I'm not sure my object is, I don't think it's really on the ground, so we don't really properly see it. So that's kind of like all the stuff you can do interactively this way. And then what's the decal? Well, you could glue like stickers on it. And then we have enable ray tracing. And then Oh, there's actually the reflection. It starts to then actually calculate a more precise representation. You see this one already looks quite different than before, and maybe no, I don't really like this metallic look. Let's make it look less industrial, maybe give it different plastic. How nice is that? Maybe this one should be green. What about we do this? Let's go to wood. Finished. Let's make it sherry. That's actually to load the wood material. So it's actually not too bad for some quick studies. Obviously, we don't want this one to be out of wood. Well, actually would be nice. But you also see the downside. Those textures don't perfectly match. Also here along the edge. But this, for example, is a really fantastic tool when you quickly want to create maybe what I would consider as a CG artist as a quick pre-presentation model. Because sometimes for the final presentation, you don't necessarily, oh, for the final presentation, you want to be really very precise and everything. But if, for example, right now we only do some quick material studies to get a feel for it, then it would be wasted time to spend all that energy on perfect renderings when what you're looking for is just some visual input. So for that, for example, this tool is pretty fantastic. Okay, so we can go back maybe to model. And this basically concludes then everything. At this point now, for example, this and this one, I could delete. I don't need it anymore. Also material split, because I can't just cut my object. I would later have to separate it, make an overmold shell, and I can, for example, for the support, I have to build the same support in, like exactly I did in the video before. I hope this quick series, probably 2 hours or more, gave you a good understanding about how Fusion can be used in conjunction with Alias, and also to give you an understanding of what, for example, the particular difference of modeling in Alias is, philosophy or workflow wise, compared to Fusion.